Hello, welcome back. I'm Allison. I'm gonna be doing my makeup and talking to you guys about moving to New York because to do so, it is not for the weak. It's either for the rich or the brave. So it's either you have money or you have big, huge balls dragging on the floor as you walk. Because to get here, you have to cross a threshold that is extremely difficult. Honestly, I feel like I make it look easy because I just do things. I don't really think too hard about it. Obviously, I moved to LA in less than a year. I moved back to Virginia. These are on the opposite ends of the country, by the way. And then I moved to New York, one of the most expensive places to live in America. I just want to give you guys a little more insight on my situation, my circumstances, because for every person that's moving to New York or even considering it, what you need to do and what is required of you to make a life here is going to be different than anybody else. That is the test of moving to New York. If it's something that you want to do, is that you need to have resilience. You need to have what it takes, but you won't know what it's gonna take. That is something that you just have to throw yourself in here and figure out as you go. Now for me, New York wasn't an option. It was the only choice that I had. New York pulled me in. I didn't fully ask for this. Honestly, I feel like in every bone of my body, it was meant for me. It was my destiny. And I am a very spiritual person. I know I don't really talk about it on here, but there were signs. Even before I left LA, I knew New York was gonna be it because I was getting very, very obvious signals. While I was in LA and I was asking for guidance, I was like, God, like, send me a sign. What am I supposed to do? Where do I go? And for the first time ever, my phone started ringing. The only caller ID that it said on my phone was New York, nothing else. And I let it ring and I'd let it hang up and I was like, you know, usually if you get a spam call, you get it multiple times from that place. No, just that one random time when I just so happened to be asking for a sign. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later, I was walking around with my friend in Silver Lake. We walk into this random thrift store and we walk in and there's this huge New York mural that's lit up the lights of the buildings and it just felt like it was calling me. And I was like, whoa, this is so weird. I couldn't really think much of it because I knew I was going back to Virginia anyways, but I just put that in my back pocket. Fast forward, I'm living in Virginia for a year at this point, and my living situation was extremely uncomfortable. I had no choice but to leave where I was living again, which I briefly explained this in another video. After having moved like fucking 5 times in the past 2 years, it was crazy. Like from house to house to house to house, trying to find a place for me to settle in. Nothing feeling right. I tried to make a life in Virginia again and I just couldn't. I was applying for jobs. I couldn't even work at the fucking Trader Joe's, dude. Even Trader Joe's didn't want me in Virginia. I was like, what the hell? In Virginia, the only thing that I could get, I was getting paid $12 an hour at a yoga studio where I was also cleaning the fucking toilets. But that was what I had to do. Like, that was the only option for me. I was like also distancing myself from social media because I was the lowest I have probably ever been in my life last year. Like, I can just remember me sitting in my car feeling numb, completely numb. I didn't feel anything in my body. I was like, this was after another really difficult situation that I had to deal with again, which was unfortunate. I was like, listen, I was so uncomfortable where I was living, having moved so many times, not feeling like I had anything of my own, that I started grasping for anything that felt familiar, aka my ex. Because I felt like nobody understood me more than he did, and he was the only person that was around, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but my whole world was falling apart. Even like my brothers, like our like trio was like also not as strong anymore. I was trying to make friends with people and they were not the best friends. I was living with this lady who, it was a really uncomfortable situation. Like, she was basically always home always right outside of my door, basically. There was no form of privacy at all. So yeah, it was a really difficult year and I had to push through. I don't even think I'm gonna do makeup at this point. It was Christmas Day and I had a wonderful day with my family. I came home and the woman I was staying with had an episode on me. And when it happened, it was just like a huge ball of negative energy just being thrown at me for absolutely no reason. It was their own personal issues. And I just sat there like, this is a sign. Whenever this happens, whenever there is somebody that is unreasonably attacking me, it's because I'm in the wrong place and I need to go the other direction. And that was literally what I was thinking as it was happening. I was like, oh no, I have to go again. This is another moment where it's like, I need to pick up and leave. And I didn't want to admit it to myself at the time, but I literally went back to my parents' house and I talked to Johnny. Johnny, listen, he is so good. He's my therapist. My brother is my therapist because he is the type of person who can take in a lot of information and help you organize it in a way for you to formulate a solution at the end. And I came to him like, this is everything that I have. These are all of my options, which I didn't have many. The two options was literally I just stick it out and I try and find somewhere to live as soon as possible somewhere else. I'm like, but I've been kind of already trying to do that. Or B, I had a friend who has been telling me to move to New York for a little while, and I was like, you know what, I'll just call them. If they're willing for me to come over there, then I'll just do it. Obviously it's December 25th. Rent was gonna be due in 5 days. So I had 5 days to pack up everything, put it in storage, and get myself on the road to New York. No plan. All I had was $2,000. $2,000 is not enough to move to New York. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But what I did have was so much faith and belief that this is what I was supposed to do. And I'm so open to the signs. My number 22, it was everywhere. And this always happens. When something is changing in my life, I'm going in the right direction. My number, everywhere, 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 everywhere. Literally, I was driving on the road and I started following behind this bus. The bus's number was 22. At this time, I was also like a little bit tired because I had been driving since like 4 in the morning. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the next rest stop. And I couldn't even take a full rest there because it was really sketchy, to be honest. But I probably took like a 20-minute nap. And then I went back on the road. And as soon as I pulled back onto the road, I pulled behind a different yellow school bus, but the number was also 22. I was like, what is the chance of that? Another situation where 22, like, I mean, not only am I seeing it on the clocks, but I'm seeing it on other things. When I was looking for a place to work here, I had went to this one person's house when I was considering subleasing somebody's apartment. And I talked to this girl and I explained to her that I was looking for a job. She's like, oh, well, I think my place is hiring. Like, I think you could even go there right now and submit a resume. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do that. Like, I could do that right now, maybe. Anyways, I got to my car and I was sitting in there and I was like, do I want to go pull up to this restaurant right now? I was like tired. I was like, I've been running around all day. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go do it. I literally make a U-turn to get onto the road and I pull up behind a fire truck. And guess the number on the fire truck? 22. I was like, okay, I'm in the right direction. I'm in the right direction if I'm following my number. Anyways, what really carried me, listen, so many tears were shed to get to this point. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew that it was gonna work out perfectly. I felt it in every ounce of my body. On paper, this was a super risky decision. All I had was somebody to stay with, which where I was staying was also not a safe place. Oh my God, I just went from one really toxic situation to another really toxic situation that wasn't even mine. It was super unstable. I literally had to get up and leave and go back to Virginia. At one point, it was like, okay, I have to leave here again I have to go back to Virginia, but I have 2 weeks to make something work and stick for me to even come back here. I would literally, from the moment that I would wake up to the moment that I would go to sleep, I would be on my computer looking for jobs, applying to places, sending a million emails, looking for places to live on so many websites, Facebook, Craigslist, Listings Project, Street Easy, apartments.com, everything. I was doing everything every day. I literally went with a stack of resumes to a place that had a lot of shops, and I was just walking in and being like, hey, are you hiring? Hey, I would love to work here. Hey, my name is Allison. Hey, to so many places. And then the next day I would follow up. Hey, I was there yesterday. Hey, I was there yesterday. Hey, I was there yesterday. Every single day. I was busting my ass. I was like, something has to work. Something has to work. But I only had but so much time for something to stick. It was like I was scared, but I wasn't. Because I had so much faith. I was I wouldn't even say it was delusional. Because I knew it was gonna work out. It's not delusional if it works out every time you're delusional. At that point, you just understand how the world works. I hold so much confidence in myself, and I always have. Like the whole like, I'm so lucky, affirmations, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing that my whole life. I've been doing that my whole life. I have luck running through my veins. I'm a Rivera. Don't you forget it. And I know it's not easy for everyone. There's so many people that don't hold that kind of faith, that can't push through enough to see the rewards of having so much optimism and staying positive. Because every time it works out for me, it's always at the very last line. It's like right before, it's like there's absolutely nothing else that could work out. That's when it comes through. A lot of people give up before they get to see the rewards show. This has happened to me so many times. The first apartment that I ever wanted, it was so difficult for me to find a place in Virginia. I wanted a townhouse. I wanted a backyard. I wanted a front yard. I wanted parking right in front of my place. I wanted a mailbox. I wanted a washer and dryer. I wanted all this stuff. And I wanted it for no more than $1,000 for at least a month, nothing. And it was getting down to like, okay, well, now I have a week until I need to be out of my house. And then, what do you know? Very last minute, a place came up with everything that I wanted. 2 rooms, backyard, front yard, mailbox, washer, dryer, everything. For $850! For $850! Cheaper than what I asked for. Are you kidding me? And the same thing happened again this time. I literally wrote down everything that I wanted. I was like, I want my own bathroom. I want a washer and dryer. I want to like my roommate. I want to feel like I have my own private space. I want it to be in a neighborhood that feels safe. All of these things. And there was one place that I did go to that I was honestly really happy with getting. And it didn't have my own private bathroom, but my room was nice. The rent was what I was asking for. The people seemed nice. And I was like, oh my God, yes, the search is over. Like, I'm finally gonna get this place, yay. And then last minute, they were like, oh, actually, we decided to give it to a friend of a friend. Sorry, like, we really thought you were a really great candidate to be a roommate here, but we're gonna give it to someone else. And instead of me being upset or bummed, this was when I didn't have that much time left to figure something out. I was like, this is amazing. This is great. I'm not getting this place. That means that there's an even better option waiting for me that's about to come towards me. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that would be. But I was so excited. Anytime something doesn't work out, I get more excited because that means something better is coming instead. Every single time, baby. Every single fucking time. And guess what? It did. I found my apartment super randomly. I actually had seen the listing for it on the listings project. And for some reason, I was like not really vibing with it. But then I saw it again on Instagram. Some random like subleasing Instagram reposted it and tagged my roommate in the post. And so I like went onto her Instagram, you know, obviously vibe checked, and I was like, wait, she's really cool. I actually really fuck with this bitch. I DM'd her. We hit it off immediately, like through DMs. We were like, wait, this feels like a really great match. The day that I got to check out this apartment was the day before I had to leave back to Virginia because the place that I was staying at was not a safe place anymore. And I had to leave, but of course they needed proof of income, which I kind of finessed. I'm not gonna get into that, but I will say this. God gave me a deck of cards and I played them all strategically. You gotta think, you gotta plan, you gotta be strategic. And I literally was like in Virginia waiting to be approved for this place, because if I wasn't approved for this place, chances are I wouldn't be even living in New York. I mean, I think I would have persevered and maybe gave it another trial, but it would have been much harder the second time. I was literally on my parents' floor in their living room like, God, please, 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 please. And I got it. And that was like the moment for me this year. That was the moment when I got my apartment. I was like, oh, I'm so good. I'm so good. We're up. Hate that I'm going back and forth with my story. It's just there's so many variables and parts of moving here that it's hard to get it all in one chronological story. So in summary, I literally drove here on New Year's Eve with the intention that I wasn't going to be going back to Virginia last year. In January, I was staying with a friend for like maybe 3 weeks until I had to leave. So I had 3 weeks to find an apartment, find a job before I had to leave. However, my lease didn't start until March. So I went back to Virginia. I was there for like maybe 2 weeks, and then I came back to New York. I started my job. I brought a bunch of my shit with me. I was living with another friend for about 2 weeks. And then I went back to Virginia. I put a lot of my stuff in storage and I got more of my stuff, brought it here. My parents came with me. They helped me move in with my stuff. It was just me and my dad hauling so much shit into my apartment. And I have a video of that whole moving process. And then that's really when it started. My job really sucked. My first job as a hostess at this like fine dining vegan restaurant that was so pretentious and didn't care about their employees, and it was not great. The hours were terrible, the travel was terrible. I actually I wouldn't even get off work until like maybe 11, and then I would have to take a whole hour transit. And one time this homeless person literally spit on me, and I was so over it that I literally was like, you know what, I'm just gonna quit my job. I'm gonna figure it out, but I'm gonna quit this fucking job before I even got a new one. And literally like 2 days after I quit that job, I got an email for another job and they hired me like almost immediately. So God was looking out for me, because I don't even know what I would have done. Needless to say, like whenever I see some influencer moving to New York, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna move to New York, and they get to experience all the glamour of New York. They don't even have to take transit. They don't really have to look for a job. They don't really have to do anything. I'm like, I don't care about your success. I'm sorry, like, good for you, but I can't resonate with that. I've always had to fight. I've always had to fucking struggle to get to where I want to be. I've always had to work. And what has helped me succeed is just having so much faith that it's working out. And I recognize that I do have more than other people. Like I am privileged in certain ways, but also like where I am right now really took me a lot of work to get here. I definitely want to share with you guys more of like an actual New York lifestyle. It is kind of annoying when you see these girls who are like, I live in New York, going to my favorite whitewashed coffee shop, and then I'm gonna go do Pilates, and then I'm gonna go, you know, all the power to them, honestly. Like, I'm not hating, I just don't resonate with it. But it can be a little annoying when it's like, let's just keep that LA energy in LA. I feel at home because I mean, I came to New York a lot growing up. I spent an entire summer here living with my cousins. So this place has always felt very nostalgic for me. I think I didn't fully realize how much of like my parents' personality was due to the fact that they were born and raised in New York. They just have this like very bold, kind of aggressive, you know, hustle mentality. They're very outgoing. They're very themselves and unique. And I think for the right people, New York will enhance that for you. And I will say, if you're not meant for New York will spit you out. But if you're meant for New York, I feel like it will not give you an option but to be here, which is what happened for me. Which it's also very funny how I ended up in the exact same neighborhood unintentionally that my parents lived in before they moved to Virginia the year before I was born. This is where my family was created. This is where they got married. This is where they had my older sisters. I come from a large family. I have 3 older sisters and 2 younger brothers. I know you only see my brothers because they're comfortable being in front of the camera, but I like to keep my other family private. My goal here, honestly, is just to continue to explore myself as a person, to grow and connect with people, to be part of a community, especially a creative community. And I just want to have fun. You know, I gave away 8 years of my life to a person that I don't even know anymore. They don't exist in my life. I don't want them to, quite frankly, repulsed by that person, which is really unfortunate. I'm just so grateful for where I am. I don't know if my story, how it would really help you in your decision of moving wherever you want to go or what you want to do. But if it does help anybody, then that's fantastic. If not, I mean, take the parts where it does resonate with you. And here I am living in New York, a year from feeling like I only had my family to now having my own space, having amazing friends, having my own inner peace, and having a better job, having better opportunities, having like my life is just better in every way because I made that very spontaneous decision to just move to New York. So yeah, I'm gonna finally finish doing my makeup. Thank you guys for listening. I'm open to whatever videos you want to make. I kind of made this one because somebody else requested it on my Instagram. So definitely follow me there. I'm just so happy to be back on YouTube, to be honest. So I love you, my little gremlin. I will see you soon.